Prepare for adventure. Welcome to Scotty Huggins Unsupervised, the podcast where host Scotty Huggins dives deep into captivating conversations with extraordinary individuals who dare to push the limits. Whether it's racing motorcycles or exploring the unknown, Scott's boundless curiosity takes center stage. Let the unsupervised journey begin.
In this episode of Scotty Huggins Unsupervised, I talk with world-class kayaker Juma Kalikwani. This conversation went nothing the way I thought it was going to go. All of the talking points I had, we never even got to. But it was still a very, very interesting conversation and a unique look on what it's like to live in Uganda. I believe Juma is a real pioneer for change in the African region. This was a great conversation and I really enjoyed the things we talked about. Shot on site in Uganda, right next to the Nile River. So let me know if you like this new format and maybe we'll do more of them.
I also feel like I should stand up and tell that person what I think. What my real thinking about what he's talking about is like, this is what I think about it. But most times, if not all times, if someone finds me in this environment, I always let them go away with everything. If I'm in town in a restaurant and someone comes and starts saying things, I'm not in this uniform. Then
Then you tell them exactly.
Then I tell them exactly what I think. Because yes, we know the news can give you a fake story.
100%, all the time.
All the time. But
especially what I would say is called legacy media, right? So media that's been around for a long time, they are spreading all kinds of
things.
False things, right? And they're always representing Africa as this underdeveloped country that's uneducated, whatever. And it's not true. Right, I've seen this in the last few weeks, and I know a few people from different African countries, and I know that they're not that way. You know, it's like
because the way we work it out in our home is that I make sure I watch the news at 7, which is Ugandan TVs, so that I see what is going on the ground. But in the morning when I'm driving the kids to school, when I'm coming back from dropping the school, I listen to a radio station which I know is the opposite of the other TV station.
That's the way it should be.
And then at 9 we watch Al Jazeera and BBC, and then we watch Sky News, and then we go and watch Fox News. So we collect all the stories they have given us, their sides, and we kind of like put the puzzle together. And we're like, okay.
Exactly.
For example, there is one thing which BBC does. The whole of the time there was this war, has been the war between Hamas and Israel. BBC will most of the times report Israel targeted Hamas fighters and there were civilian casualties. Al Jazeera says the onslaught on Gaza goes on, Israel targeting...
that's the way it is, right?
Then Fox News, they come in and you are like, did they really have a reporter there or they don't? Because theirs is always like, as if they are writing the story themselves about something which didn't happen, but they want you to believe it happened. And so they find a way of bringing it.
And do you know the funny thing is, when you have an open mind like this, and you watch different things, you start to see patterns.
Yeah.
Right? You see patterns.
You
see the pattern, right? And so you see that BBC always do the same thing, and Al Jazeera always look at things from a like an Arabic angle or
it's like a forgiving eye.
Yeah, you know. So then you need to try and find some kind of unbiased view.
Yeah.
Very hard to do.
To find.
Very hard to do. But you need to sort of take all the views and then maybe put your own picture together.
Yeah.
Of how. And the other thing that's interesting to do as well is to. This is what I like to do. I like to read history and then go, okay, what happened 20, 40, 50 years ago here? And then you read all the different things that happened and you go, oh, okay. And then you listen to what's happening now and the way they're presenting. You're like, well, that's not true. Well, that's not true.
Yeah, and then you find your own things.
Yeah, you find your own opinion, right?
Yeah, I personally, I try to make sure that my kids don't grow up with the mindset I had when I was growing up about white people and Western world.
Yeah.
That I don't want them to grow up with the mentality their mom had about black people.
Yeah. And that's interesting because this is just for the reference. You're married to an English person, yeah. And so the difference in the societal differences is so vastly different.
Yeah. So we go to the point where I say to my wife, I said, we cannot have a maid unless the maid is white. And she was like, but we are not going to be able to afford a white maid.
Yeah.
And I was like, I understand that, but if it means me doing everything which a maid would do, I would do it. And she was like, but I get your point. I would do it. I would help do it too. Because we have friends of ours, mainly who are white families, white mom, white dad, and they have kids.
Yeah.
And our kids get on well with them because we get on well with them.
Yeah.
Later I'll tell you why I don't have many friends who are purely black. But I'll start with the white friends. Is that when we go to because they live here, when we go to their homes, they have the gatekeeper is a Ugandan and black. And they have the person who is looking after the compound is black, Ugandan. They will have someone who helps with maybe the cooking. It's black, Ugandan. And they will have someone who is inside the house who does with like the washing up, the ironing and all that. So when my kids go there, they don't tend to see a white person who is doing the work.
Yeah, I agree.
So they sit there and go like, so black person works for the white person.
Yeah.
And if I have a black maid at home, they won't see that black maid is doing work which helps me, which also like relieves me of some duties. They will see it as it's doing it because their mom is white.
Yes.
So I say to her, we need to take the kids to a school where the majority of the teachers are black. International school, but we need to look at the international school where the majority of the teachers are black.
Yeah.
So that when these kids go and visit their white friends and their families, they see a black person cleaning the door, cleaning the compound.
Yeah.
But when they go to school, they see a black teacher teaching.
Yeah.
And there is actually a very good doctor, it's called Dr. Charles, he's Ugandan.
Okay.
So that is the hospital we go to.
Yeah.
Every time, unless he cannot handle that particular problem, then we would again still look for another doctor who is black.
Yeah, local.
Local, because I want them to see that a black person in Uganda can be a doctor, can be this, can be that.
Yeah.
And like
can be whatever. Like they do all the same things that a white person does. For example.
So the reason why I don't have so many black friends, families, is that most of the people I called my friends did not understand my life when they are Ugandans. Most of them see rafting, but they don't know how much I get paid.
Yeah.
Because they have met many other people who work for the rafting.
Yeah.
But most of them who work for the rafting work for those companies in the mentality of like, I am a Ugandan, I am nothing, so pay me whatever you can pay me.
Yeah.
So when they look at what most of those Ugandans get paid when they work, they put me in the same basket.
Yeah.
So if they assume that in a year, if the year was very busy in terms of tourists, and I did however many trips, I might earn 5 million a year. When they look at the lifestyle I live, they conclude that he's living this style because of the white woman.
Yeah.
So whenever I kind of like invite, I'm like, okay, this guy is now a friend because I've known him for a long time. Okay, my kids have birthday parties. You can come around. When they come, they might maybe go to the bathroom. Maybe I left this chain there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They'll pick it up and they'll come back to me. They say, how much is this? I'll be like, I think I paid maybe 120 pounds. I also want to get a mzungu.
Yeah, see, that's crazy, right? That's crazy.
They're like,
hey, I need a white wife too.
Yeah. And then I will be like, oh, you don't need a white woman.
Yeah.
Then maybe my phone would ring and they're like, which iPhone is that? I'm like, yeah, it's my phone 11. I also need a mzungu woman. So instead of me having someone there and I'm like, we are having a conversation, it is more of like, I want to get a mzungu. I did not even wake up one dance I want to have a white woman.
Yeah.
And to be honest, when my dad found out that I was working here, the first thing he said to me, he said, I heard you got a job with white people, but you are not marrying a white person. And I couldn't ask because those days dad was very like, if he said something,
strict.
You ask, you get a beating.
Yeah.
So I did not ask why. And afterwards, I went back, maybe after 5 years of working here, I went back and I said, Dad, and I had got like a Ugandan wife. And so I said to Dad, when I had just got the job, you said I should not get a white woman. Do you know that is called racist?
Yeah.
He was like, no, my son, I know racism, but that is not racism. I said, okay, explain to me. He was like, white woman will produce 2 kids, and he says that's enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But see me, I have 48 of you. I was like, okay. And he said, when a white woman wants to give birth to the kids, he's going to say she will feel better to give birth to those kids in her country because she trusts the doctors and everything, and the facilities there.
Yeah, for sure.
And she might even get you to go with her. You will go. But once those kids are born there, that is their country. Here they will come to visit. But because their nationality is Australian, German, whatever, they will go to school. They might go to school here, but every kind of investment is going to be thought of back home because that's where they feel like that's their country.
Yeah.
And if you ever have a disagreement with your wife, she will just get on the plane and go. She won't have anything to hold her here because the kids are English or British or whatever.
Yeah.
And they have the passport. She doesn't need a visa. So even if you had a chance that woman would maybe stay and reconsider her decisions, but because getting on the plane with a kid who has a British passport is very easy, she'll just go and you won't have that chance.
Yeah.
And he said, my wives here, we get disagreements all the time.
Of course.
Yeah, but because your moms don't have their money. They want to run a one go. And then they stay and start looking for money. And in that time, I have the chance to get in there and go like, my wife, don't leave. Don't do that. So I saw all his points.
Yeah.
And that. But then, my Ugandan wife, things didn't work out. Because things didn't work out mainly. I had started changing. It wasn't that I was changing for the better, because I didn't even know what I was changing to.
Yeah.
I started looking at, okay, this kayaking can take me to this country. Oh, I can go here. Oh, I can go and see places. So I started really putting my life into the kayaking.
I think one of the things about that is, and this is definitely my experience, is you start to become the person you are always going to become. But you don't realise the path you're taking yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then as you get down that path, things don't work out the way you'd thought they worked out, because you have some vision in your head of how things should be.
Yeah.
And then if you let go of that perception of how things should be, how you think things should be, and you allow yourself to go down that path of the person you're supposed to become, you then become that person. But a lot of people, I think, stick to the vision that they had of what they think should be.
Yeah.
And they never fully realise the person they should have become.
Yeah, if they were to choose the other side.
If they would have to let things play out.
Yeah.
You know?
So because many Ugandans, maybe not just Ugandans, many Africans who have had the chance to live, not the chance, the privilege to leave their country to go and see another country, Europe, wherever, they don't tend to come back.
Yeah.
So when I went to Australia, it was for like 7 days. It was a kayaking competition. My wife, by then, concluded that I was not coming back.
You're running away.
So she straight away started making different plans of like, this man is gone. I've never known a Ugandan who gets on a plane, goes there and comes back. So, which I understood, because even me, I had that mentality before. But I was like, if I'm making money here, and here I was a superstar, because I was flying off the waves no one, you know? So I'm like, why would I go to Australia, try and throw the passport in the toilet? Because many people told me this.
Yeah, right.
They were like, when you get there, the first thing you need to get rid of is the passport.
Seriously?
Go and find a laser braid, cut it into pieces, and flush it down the toilet.
Really?
And then from there, you can claim to be a refugee. And they were like, you're too dark, you look like Sudanese. These days, Sudanese get refugee status.
Really?
And I was like, but I flip white people here and they pay me.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would I want to become a refugee?
Yeah,
you know?
that's right.
I have a job.
Yeah.
And in my job, I can see that, because I started off like a kayaker and then I started guiding. So I'm seeing the progress. When I started working here, I was being paid like maybe 30,000 a month.
And this is one of the things too, is like when everyone that's doing anything in the country that's developing runs away from the developing country, how can the country ever develop? Because there's no leaders doing things, like community leaders. Like in the community, no one's leading the community to make the place better.
Yeah.
They just leave and then never come back, and they go to somewhere that's already developed, and they're not able to, I guess, in some ways, it's building, yes, but also it's profiting as well. You're somehow benefiting yourself too, to be in a developing country or in a country that's that needs you, you know. And if you're running away from there and going to a country that's already developed, well, there's very little input you can make. Because you can make a lot of difference here, but you can make very little difference in another country.
Yeah, because that's where everyone who is good at something is running to. So
you're going to somewhere with heaps of competition, when you could be somewhere with less competition and dominate a lot better. You know? It's a bit like the way the sport works, right?
Yeah.
Is you go to eventually, you always have to go to where the sport is the pinnacle and is the hardest.
Yeah.
But it's like people run away from the country where the sport's easy, and maybe they are making some good difference because they're one of the leaders to a place where they're top 50. Top 100, top 1,000. You know, they're not. You know, they're not at that level necessarily. When they can stay and build this up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It makes no sense to me.
So that's how I looked at it, and I'm like, I am making money here, and throw away the passport, and then become a refugee. And because I don't know about you, but please feel free not to. If you don't find it uncomfortable, but I'm going to tell you my version of. I grew up only seeing African refugees, and when you see them, they are in a camp, and there is no toilet. There is like shit here, poo here, and they are like dirty. Someone is running with a chicken on the head, and that is what I pictured. I'm like, why would I? It is until recently, until the crisis in Libya and the, which one? Syria.
Yeah.
That's when I saw refugees who are white and a refugee who has an iPhone, who has a MacBook, whatever laptop. And when it started, the first time I saw it on TV, I'm like, oh, these guys are faking it up. That's not a refugee. That does not look like a refugee. He does not have his cows on the back of the head. So then I was like, oh no, maybe that's the life they live. That's how they look when they are living. And that's how they ran away from the war. Someone had like a Nike clean shoes if he was in a restaurant eating and the war started and ran. So maybe the African refugee, someone is in the garden, is doing the digging, and the war starts. And that person doesn't have the time to shower, to collect anything. And then they run like that. Maybe that's how, it was something, I don't know how, like, if that's how you viewed it.
I think it's like what we were talking about before, where the media present a certain narrative, a certain story. And when they present a story about African refugees, they present it in a certain way. And when they present it about like Muslim refugees or Arabic refugees, they present it a certain way. And like, where did you see the refugee camps? On the TV, right? It's on the television, which is being presented to you. It's being shown to you like this. Like, here's what it looks like. And you look at it and go, that's not how things are. Like, why is this looking like this? This makes no sense. But it's like this narrative they're presenting to make it look a certain way. And so you find it confusing because it's like, this doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense because it's all a play.
It's all presented in a certain way.
And then it makes no sense.
So, but I think, however bad it is, it helped me because I looked at myself to turn into one of those people I see on the TV as African refugees. I was like, no
way.
I'm going back to Uganda. I'm not doing this. I'm going back to Uganda.
And a lot of that's about how you see yourself too, because you see yourself. I mean, here's one of the things, right? Okay, maybe you went to Australia. Did you go to Australia first? The first overseas competitions you went to. But you also had, I think it's multiple things. I think one of the things is when you open yourself up to extreme sports, and mostly all sports, but especially extreme sports, you build a certain understanding of what you're capable of. And then also probably a good thing is when you're guiding Mzungus all the time, you see the way they are and you get a better understanding of how they are and how they live. How they live and you talk to people and you open your mind up a lot more. And then you're like, well, hang on, they're no different really to the way we are. You know? And you're like, well, and then so when everyone's telling you to cut your passport up when you go there, you're like, well, hang on a second, no. they're no smarter than I am. You know, it's a bit like this. Do you know how people get really starstruck? Like, oh my God, I met, I don't know, Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
You know, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like, he's just another fucking person.
Yeah.
He just sings and takes drugs or whatever it is. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that he does, but he's just a really good singer. He's just a person.
You know the person I want to meet?
Yeah.
It's called Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne, yeah.
He's a very creative guy.
Yeah.
Is that he introduced crying on a microphone and he
yeah.
sells it to people. Every time I hear his song, he's like, and I'm like, this guy's so creative. Because that's what he's selling. I think if I meet him, I will be like, I'm happy. He's a very creative guy.
Yeah, but like, I think one of the things is people, when they open their mind up to these things, they just go, it's just another person.
Yeah.
It's okay. No different.
Not so different.
And then once you realize that, then you're like, why do I want to go and cut my passport up?
And
when I can, and then stay there when these people are no different to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like that they create this system of us and them. You know, this us and them thing.
Yeah.
And, well, why? I don't know exactly. But, like, what's the difference between me and you?
I don't really see much, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the difference is like you live in a different country, I live in a different country.
And so our culture's different.
But
really,
it's not like one is better than the other.
Yeah.
Because, of course, if I told you about my life when I was growing up, I will convince you it was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because we never had to buy any fruits.
Yeah. We're just growing here.
We're just growing.
Yeah.
Like, you move, one village would cover maybe 2 kilometers square something. I don't know how they measure it. But you had access to all the fruits in that 2 square kilometers.
As much as you want.
Yeah, you just walk up and you're like, this mango, this one doesn't taste better.
on the ground, get the next one.
Yeah. So if I told you how I lived the life, and I try and mimic it now because I miss it.
Yeah.
I try and mimic it. Like, I will only have the light on at home when Rachel can't see.
Yeah.
That's when I'll turn on the light.
Yeah.
That's when I turn on the power light. There is this constant thing of my kids and my wife saying, but are you seeing? I'm like, yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
But that kind of darkness, and I'm just like doing my things, and I can still see, I'm like, it's good, you know?
Yeah.
So
I always think to myself as well, like, I mean, so the way I grew up is very different to the way I see kids grow up now. And I think to myself, when I see kids growing up now, I'm like, they're all babied. They're all being coddled, you know, coddled. They're all being coddled by the mother or the father, both, you know what I mean? And like when I was a kid, my mum and dad used to say, you go out, when you come home from school, go out and play. When the street lights come on, then you have to be home.
Yeah.
We were doing all kinds of things by ourselves. Yeah. No supervision, nothing, right? Now, that would never happen. It doesn't happen in Australia anyway.
Not even my home.
Yeah, right? And so, but we were just doing whatever the hell we wanted to out in the street. You know, and that was great. We had all the freedom to do whatever we wanted to do. And not that we were getting up to any mischief too much, but I mean, we were riding what you call push bike, you know, cycling and digging holes and just doing stuff, you know what I mean? But it's very different now compared to what it was then. It's like, it's sort of the same thing. Like, you think to yourself, I'm going to try and mimic that in my children and try and give them that sort of more enjoyable. But like, I think everyone thinks that their childhood was better than the next generations or the last generation. You know what I mean? But like, even if I go back to when my dad talks about when he was growing up, he grew up in the bush in Australia. And this would probably resonate with you here, is that they had no power in their house. They had and no refrigeration. So they used to have a guy come around with an ice block, and they put it in the chest, the ice chest, and they keep their food cold like this. And this was in 70s, 60s, 70s, late 60s. Yeah. You know what I mean? Early 60s probably, mid to early 60s. And that's not that long ago, you know what I mean? And so people think of Australia like it's some kind of developed country, like it has been forever. But like it never was like that.
No.
And I don't think, here's two things. People are physically much more unhealthy in Western countries, much more unhealthy. And people in here, like you said, all the fruit and the good organic food you guys are eating all the time, it's a better, objectively, it's a better life.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that has somehow changed, apart from, let's say, a few people like me. I have like a jackfruit tree at home. I have papaya, I have avocado trees, and I don't use any pesticides. But because now in the Western world, people have realized that having a fruit which has been like smeared with pesticides and all that is not good. They tend to look for markets outside where they use a lot of pesticides. And surprisingly, they think that most African countries don't use pesticides, which is not true. Because let's say for Uganda, to supply fruits to Europe, you have to because you want to get more money. And your things need to look like big and, you know? Apart from a few kind of fruits where the bigger they are, the harder to transport, so the Western market won't take them. Like our big avocados here, they don't make it to Europe. Because it's big, you know, it's heavy. So they prefer those hardy, small avocados. They are like this, you know? And
this is one of the problems is we get fruit, and I see it all the time. We get fruit and like or even avocados that they're green, still green. And then they somehow magically ripen while they're sitting in the shopping centre. It's like that doesn't happen. They're just bad fruit. That's all it is. Whereas if you have something like that's fresh, you eat that. And the difference now, especially my mum and dad are on the farm, you get fruit trees and all kinds of things like that on the farm. And when you get the fruit that's on the tree, fresh from the farm, with no pesticides, that is a stark difference to what you get in the shop.
My kids, when we go to the UK, they struggle to eat fruits. Because, like myself, I tried the banana one time. I spat it out, and I've never tried it again.
Rubbish.
The only things which I mainly eat as fruits in the UK are they called satsumas? They look like oranges, but they are not oranges.
Mandarin? No?
No, I think they call them satsuma or something.
Never heard of it. Do you take a beer?
No, I don't drink.
You don't drink at all?
No.
Water?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay.
So, it's kind of like I chose to come back, and I came back, and then afterwards I went like to France, then went to South Africa, Zambia.
All competitions?
Yeah, but South Africa was work. And also to try and meet the team, because there is I don't know if you noticed, there is a type of kayaks called fluids. They were on the river today. Maybe 3 of them, the kayaks we used. They have lots of
these ones that you're using are called fluids?
Fluids. So the person who makes them is in South Africa, and he was one of our sponsors here. So he would give us free kayaks. And so I went there to work and also play around with fluid kayaks and take photos, and so that could send. Because it's one thing to try and advertise something in South Africa, and all the people you're using to advertise they are South Africans. Yes, people will buy it, but it makes a much more wider thing that people who are using your kayaks are not only South Africans. So I felt like that was one way of me paying back. Like go and use the kayak on South African river, and I'm from Uganda, and all the competitions I've...
And the other thing too is, this is one of the things that I find, and when I do any kind of promotion or any kind of advertisement, I try and make sure that the product that I'm going to promote is a genuinely good product.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why?
Yeah.
Why are you bothering?
Yeah.
You know? So
it's lying to yourself.
Yeah, it's lying to everyone, right?
Yeah. As I was saying, I never chose like I want a white wife.
Yeah.
It's just that my life moved more like, because those days we had lots of clients. We had 4 companies operating on the river.
Yeah, right.
Now we have 17.
Oh.
You see?
And you have 17 and there's 5 or 4 or 5 rapids on this section of the river.
Yeah.
And before there was 16 or?
16.
Yeah, which would have been better then, hey?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So we were busy all the time. It's like most of my time from when I joined this company in 2000, I would say I spent 90% of my time with white people.
Yeah, right.
Because I would wake up in the morning, come here, load boats, go to the river, come back, offload, then go to play in the kayak.
Yeah.
And then come back.
Yeah.
I was living here. Then go to the bar, sit there. And I don't drink, but I would talk to the guides and all that because I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
So my chances of really meeting a Ugandan were getting
for sure
smaller and smaller.
You know, one of the things, this is interesting the way you say that, because one of the things that it's not deliberately, but by accident, is that I'm in construction at home. Yeah. So I'm dealing with men all the time. All I do is hang out with men. And then also in this particular sport that I choose to operate in, nearly all men, right? Only men race and ride motorcycles, mostly. Yeah. There are a small selection of women that do the sport, mostly men. But then also, I mean, the closest thing I've ever gotten to having a mixed gendered sport is climbing. Yeah. And climbing is men and women, and that works well. But otherwise, all I do is spend my time with men.
Sausage first.
And so how do you meet some wife or something like this when you're doing this? You know what I mean? And the other thing too is, how do you even know what you like? Yeah. When all you're doing is dealing with men. And the next problem is when you do with men, you become a bit of a savage. Because people in Australia anyway, in construction, we are like these uncivilized men,
looked at as like
rough. And rough is the best way to look at it.
And I think in some ways, when people look at many people at a construction site, they might pull out one person and they say that's the one who has the brain.
Yeah.
These ones are just like throwing sand and they don't really look at you as like, okay, this guy has a diploma or a degree in this or that, or is actually smart.
And this is one thing, this goes with what you're saying about Uganda and Ugandan people as well, is people in the construction industry are, and it's becoming more obvious now with the way that people are doing too many office jobs, and they are unable to mow the fucking grass even, or build a table like we're sitting in. Yeah. Like, whereas a construction worker can go, I'll knock up a bench, no problem. Take me 2 seconds. Yeah. That's easy. I just cut this here, cut that there, put it together. Happy days. It's easy for them. To them, it's easy. Yeah. But to other people, they're going to pay someone to do that for them. But the mentality of construction in general is that they think that they're not as smart as other people. And it's just not true, right? They're smart in a different way. It's a different kind of intelligence. Yeah. And that's one of the things that, as we talk about this here, is I see such, like you see do you guys have this here because when we were in Kenya, we have like the roadside furniture. They're building this furniture and something. Yeah. The quality's quite good. Yeah. And it's like, these guys have...
Well, at least let's use the word, the quality looks good.
Looks good, yeah. Looks good. Yeah, looks good. Yeah.
Because some might not be good.
Yeah. But it's like, that's talent. There's talented people out there doing these things, building these furnitures. Yeah. And at least, like I said, at least it looks good, And maybe they don't have the joints and stuff as good as it could be, but they don't have any tools either to do it. No, not really.
So you need to credit them basing on what they had to use to
for sure. Yeah. It's like when I'm fixing some bike on the side of the road, I can only do with what I, like the few tools I have.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to jimmy something to make it work. You know, it's like, it's not necessarily going to be perfect, but it'll work.
It'll work, yeah.
You know, so, but I guess one of the things is, I guess what we're saying before about, you know, we were saying you were sidetracked a little bit, or we sidetracked a little bit, I guess, is that, so you did competitions, I guess getting to what we actually were talking about originally was, you did a lot of kayaking all around the world, hey? And a lot of like freestyle, is it freestyle kayaking?
It was freestyle.
Yeah.
It's like you get in a wave and they give you like maybe 45 seconds.
Yeah.
And you show off as much as you can.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are like many different tricks.
Yeah.
Some tricks are suitable or good for small waves, like small holes. You know, like that one we fell in rafting. No, where Sharon fell.
Sharon fell in. Yeah.
It's more like that.
Perfect wave, or what do you want to call it? A surfing wave.
For those ones, you are going to do different tricks to, like that wave we didn't flip. So if you get onto that, you're going to do different moves. So we used to have what they call like, is it rodeo? I think.
Rodeo.
It has been a long time. So you have the rodeo, then you have like, you just get into the wave and do whatever you can do. And then we had the big air. So the big air, you look for the biggest wave possible, but which you can re-enter, because most waves can be good, but you have to come in from the top. And once you get flashed out, you have to go down maybe 100 meters, then walk out, carry the kayak and do it again from top. Some of the waves can be like, they have the eddy pushing you back into, so you can go and surf it, get out, come back. So in those ones, you basically got on the wave and do your biggest move. And the biggest move is basically how high you go off the water when you do that move. So that's why it's like, when it wasn't judged by just looking at it, it was judged by cameras. Because then afterwards they put it on a screen and they replay it, and people would go like, actually that one went higher than all the other people. And then we had this down river race running through all the 16 rapids. So we started right here below the campsite. And you just went down paddling. You had like a pair, 2 people in a team, so that you look after each other. And then you just race down. Going through the rapids. But then there was something different we did on the Zambezi. It's like it's a competition down, but it's not just going through rapids. They put cameras, cameramen. Every time I use that, I need to remember women can do cameras too.
Hang on, ready? So this is one of the things that annoys me about this the way the English language works. Is that when they say manhole or cameraman or tradesman, tradesman, it's tradeshuman. This is what it means, right? It means human.
It's
right?
human,
So it's a human, or a manhole. It's a human hole. It's we call it a manhole, like an access panel, right? And they change the names of these things. It's like, cameraman. It's a human operating a camera, right? It's not a man as if only men can do it. It's a man as in human is operating the camera, not a robot or something else like this. And this is one of the things that I think we manipulate language to suit whatever
our agendas.
Whatever agenda we want, right? So feminists will hijack it. Well, women can do it too. Of course they can.
They can.
Of course they can. There's definitely camera women out there, but it means human, not it's man. It's man. It's as in man on the moon is human on the moon. It's short for human. Man. So anyway, sorry. Okay.
So on the Zambezi River, they put camera humans.
Human camera humans.
In different places, so that you are running this laser grade 5 rapid, but you are also stopping and do some tricks as you go down.
Cool.
So that's what That's what I would call freestyle.
Yeah.
I wouldn't claim that I did slalom or any other kayaking.
Yeah.
Because I think with a water sport, it's quite hard to do many and you enjoy them. You choose one and you stick to that because it takes a lot of concentration and time.
It 100% does. I mean, in my sport, I've done nearly every style.
Yeah.
Like so, speedway, motocross, enduro. Now I'm into desert racing, things like that.
Do they need different bikes for all those?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
And
so you have a collection?
I got 6 bikes at the moment.
Wow.
6 at the moment, but I need to get rid of 2 of them. But you are right. They all take very different ways of doing things.
Yeah.
And it's not. This is one of the reasons why I've never been the best because I've always changed when I lose interest in something and then move to the next thing. But I think that if you have found that like freestyle, which I would say is probably the most creative.
For me,
it's the best, right?
I think it is unfair to say that I chose freestyle.
Freestyle chose you?
No, there was no option.
Yeah, well, that's true.
There was no other option.
There's no organised competition.
So there was
playground.
Kayaking came to Uganda, rafting came to Uganda in 1996. And people started coming with these long kayaks, and then they took photos of themselves or videos having these long kayaks in a very nice wave where you could play.
Yeah.
And at that moment, people in Australia had started making what they call play boats. So I'm sure people were sitting in Australia or somewhere in New Zealand or Canada going like, oh, that's a nice wave. Why are they just using those long kayaks which don't even spin once?
Yeah.
So then they got on the plane, came here, they played on the waves, and they're like, this is amazing. And as they are leaving, they're like, now this kayaker to take it back, because I think I got this feeling that airlines don't like transporting kayaks.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true.
So then they would be like, if you give me just $100, I'll leave you this kayak.
Really?
Yeah, and some of them would not even sell the kayaks. They're like, you took me down, you showed me the lines down the road, have the kayak. But at that moment, that was a very nice thing.
Yeah, of course.
But it was a very terrible thing. Because someone who is twice the size of me would give me a kayak.
Yeah.
But because I saw him throwing that kayak in the wave, I wanted to throw that kayak around the same. And that's how I think I also messed up my back.
Yeah.
Because the kayak was too big for me. I couldn't even fit in it.
Yeah.
But I had to find like empty water bottles and push it in so that I can so that I can feel like I'm
to learn how to do it properly.
I'm tight in there.
Yeah.
But I was this small man using all my energy to throw around a kayak, which is fit for a man the size of me.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up into the freestyle, but not because I looked at all this, the water sports, and I was like, freestyle. No, it was just like that was what available at
and
that
that's
moment.
kind of just the way things sort of play out too. Like it's like, it's a lot of times unplanned. It's just like, it is. I don't know about what you think about God or the universe gifting you opportunities, but like you just get gifted something. and you just either you take that opportunity or you don't take it.
Yeah.
And then as you take it, that's just the way that things play out. It's a bit like what I was saying before about when you start down a path and you don't understand where you're going, but eventually you become the person you're supposed to be. Yeah?
Not the person you
planned to be. Or you thought of yourself to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you were already guiding, like you were doing like some freestyle stuff, but you were already doing rafting as well at the time?
So I started off with kayaking.
Just kayaking by yourself? Just
No. I come from a village called Itanda. We did not go there today.
Yeah.
That village, there is a grade 6 which you walk around. So when rafting started in 1996, the rafters used to come there. And we looked at them. The first time we saw them,
You think, what are these crazy Muslims?
we were like, because we grew up seeing that rapid, and we could only start becoming so religious and imagine that it is only Jesus, who can walk, because we had Jesus walked on the water. Whether it was an illusion or the man was magician, we don't know. So when we saw them, we were like, Jesus is back, but this time he has come with friends. You know? So then the adults ran away. Because those days we used to see these films of like John Rambo.
Yeah, you were saying this before.
One person goes to a country and kills everyone and gets on the plane and comes back. So because they had everything with them, they had the paddles. We had never seen that paddle. They had knives and carabiners, and they looked more like when some footage of Rambo is going through a bush, he has a knife. So the adults, because they had watched those movies, they ran away. They were like, now
it's here to kill us.
They are here to kill us. And this time it's not just one man, it's like 7 of them. So for us, we walk as being kids, because we used to go to the church. That's a very long story, but I'm not Christian or
neither.
But where I grew up, there was only one man taking photos for the whole village. And this was a man called the father. And this was a white person. He would come to that church once a year. So whether you were a Christian or not, if you wanted your photos, you had to go there. And that
and get
man
your photo.
Takes the photo. And those were the photos where people ended up coming with their stereo cassettes. And they made the cassette play their favorite song. Thinking that the song will end up in the photos. You made sure you smeared yourself with nice smelling Vaseline. Really believing that
the smell would get in.
The smell will get in the photo. And but because naturally, I don't know if it is naturally or it was made by politicians from long ago, every time you saw anyone taking photo, you had to look serious to the point you look like you're dying.
You know? This is like all the old photos that they take in the US or in England or anything. Everyone's sitting so seriously, stiff boards.
I don't know who started it, but
I don't know either.
So this father would come with sweets because he wanted the kids to smile. So he would go like. He would not talk to us. We would not understand English. But it was meaning. We could see what he was meaning, because any child who went like this, after the photo would get the sweet. So we had, for us being kids, we were like, these white people are going to give us sweet. So we ran to them, and I knew a little bit of English, just a tiny bit from school. So they were like, can you get your father? They used the word dad. It didn't really exist in those days. And they were, dad. They were like, father. So they wanted me to get the adults who they thought were my fathers to come and help them carry the boats around. So I arranged the adults to come and carry the boats around.
And this is where the drop-in was in the river.
So then these rafters say to me, we are going to be coming every Saturday and Sunday. Can you be coming here and organize people to carry the boats? And so then one time they came, I think on a Friday, but I was at school. Then on Saturday when I went there, they were like, we came here yesterday, where were you? And I said, of course I was
at school.
They were like, okay, so we can help you, we can pay for your school fees, but every Saturday you need to make sure you come here. So then that's how I started getting closer to them and organize of course I became what most African man would do. You ditch all the other people, you bring your uncle.
Bring all your family there to
bring
work.
All your family to work. So I became this young man, young child who organizes the adults to come and carry the boats. And then one time I was like, I want to go and see what you do. They were like, you're too young. But then the next time they came, they found us above this grade 6, just swimming to the rocks, and the grade 6 is like maybe a few meters down. They were like, I think you can.
They're not getting sucked in there.
They're like, maybe you can handle this. So then they invited me to go with them to Kampala. So I left my village. I went with them.
Yeah.
Went to Kampala. Then the next day we came, but I sat in the safety boat.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't go into the paddle.
So even then they had a safety boat?
They had a safety boat.
Yeah, okay.
So then they started asking me questions, and I tried to make my English words better, but you know, when you have been taught by someone who teaches you English in a certain way, you know, when I was learning, there was no word please.
Yeah.
It's like, if someone asks, like in your world, if someone says, would you like a beer? If you want a beer, you say, yes, please.
Yeah.
If you don't want, you say, no, thanks.
Yeah.
Those words didn't exist in my English. If someone said, you want a Fanta? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. If I didn't want, I would be like, no, I don't want.
Yeah.
So
it's very straight.
It's very straight, you know.
Perfect.
I started struggling with those words, and in the English they taught us at school, at primary 2 to primary up maybe to primary 5.
Yeah.
Those years, there was no word hello and hi. At least
you were saying this before.
Yeah. There was how are you in English if you're teaching. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Yeah.
So when people started throwing this hi, I'm like, I am fine. How are you?
We have this thing in Australia. That says,
g'day, mate.
It's g'day, mate. But the problem is, you get so used to saying a reply to that sometimes someone will go. Like I say this all the time. I go, how you going?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you need to reply to me.
Yeah.
But also, sometimes people say, g'day, mate.
Yeah.
And you go, someone says, g'day, mate. And you go, good, thanks.
Yeah.
And it's like the wrong reply. Because someone goes, how you going? Yeah, good.
Yeah.
And someone will say, g'day. Yeah, good. It's the wrong reply. But you just automatically do it, you know?
Yeah. So we were always like, fine, how are you?
Yeah.
That's what I was taught, at least for me. I'm not speaking for every Ugandan.
No, of course. Yeah,
but in my village where I was, if someone said, how are you? Means they are asking how you are.
Yeah.
But in our tradition there, you are not supposed to tell a stranger all your problems.
Yeah.
So whether you're dying that moment, you say,
good.
fine, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. So I tried and get more English words, but every day I was getting confused. Because you get an English person comes and says, could I have a bottle of water?
Yeah.
You're
Like, what the hell
are you
is
looking for? And then they start pointing at the water. So you're like, water?
Yeah.
Bottle of water. They're like, yeah, a bottle of water.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, tomorrow, if this client wants water, is going to say, could I have a bottle of water? Then you find someone from Idaho.
Yeah,
he just eats potatoes and cheese. Goes like, could I have a bar of water?
Like, but do you know the thing about it is, like, I get this, especially as an Aussie, I get this in other countries all the time. And if I'm speaking English in America, can I get a beer or whatever it is? And they're like, what? I'm like, a beer. And they're like, what? And I'm like, a beer, a bottle of beer. Like, and they're like, oh, you would like a beer?
Yeah,
I'm like,
beer.
What's the difference? What's the difference? But
there is a big difference.
But I find this with all English. Like, you find a Scotsman, a Scottish person.
Yeah.
Or even Irish is worse.
Yeah.
Very hard to understand. But English is multiple different languages, I think. Lots of different languages. And although we're saying the same thing, it's not the same thing.
It's not the same, yeah. So, it was a struggle. But, so then they told me, do you want to learn how to kayak? And I was like,
Yeah.
I wasn't even sure of what I was agreeing to because I didn't even know that is called kayaking.
Yeah.
So, but I tell you, in the village where I grew up, everything a white person said to you, you had to accept it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because it was like you're speaking to the people who are close to God, eh?
Yeah.
So if they say something, you say yes.
Yeah.
So you want to do kayaking? I'm like, yes. But I
Yeah.
didn't know even what kayaking was.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, you can come and learn. And that's when I was like, nah, no, because I could still see, I didn't see any Ugandan doing it or a black person doing it.
Yeah.
So when I understood it, that's what they wanted me to do, I was like, no. I went there and I sat in the safety boat and I saw the rapids. That was it. I don't want to be that crazy person going in there. So then time went on, and I saw they brought in a guide from Zambia because rafting, I think, started in 1985 in Zambia.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so the guides, the Zambian guides, he came here to work.
Yeah.
And when I saw him, I was like, black man.
Yeah, he can do it.
I can do it. I will do it.
Yeah.
So then I went back to them and they said, yeah, I would like to learn how to kayak. They said, no, we had only spot for 2 people and we are training them already.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, fine. Then another company came. They drove the boats to the starting point, but they did not have a driver
to
take them back.
Uh-huh.
So what they did, they drove the boats to the starting point, and then the driver drove the car to my village where they wanted to finish.
Yeah.
He got on a bicycle to go back to the starting point so that when they finish rafting, their vehicle is there.
Yeah.
But then there was no one to look after it. But because I knew that every Saturday these rafters were coming.
Yeah.
So I was there, and this guy came to me and said, car. He was speaking real English, but I was getting small parts.
Yeah.
Car, key, leave, come back, get car, key. I started adding the words together, and I understood that he wanted to leave the car there, but he wanted to leave the key.
Yeah.
So I was like, give it to me.
Yeah, I can do that.
So he gave it to me. But this was the hardest moment of my life up to now. He left the car there. He gave me the key. I didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, right.
So I'm thinking there, white man has given me the car. But why would he lock it if he has given me the car?
Yeah.
But why would he give a young child like me the car? So I sat there and I wanted to go home, at least to tell one of my brothers that I have been given a car. But then I didn't want to leave the car there in case someone came and stole the car.
Yeah.
So I was just confused, worried, like panicking. And lucky enough, some adults came in and I started talking to them. I said, there was this white man who came here. I have never seen him. He gave me the key and he gave me the car. And they were like, open it. And I refused. I'm like, no. So then there was a guy who came, a driver, I knew him. He was like, because rumors started circulating around that Juma has been given a car by this white man. And this guy came and said, I can drive it. I'm like, no. I have the key, and I held on to the key. And what I did, I decided to run. And I ran towards the river, and there is a rock.
Yeah.
I got the key. I swam with the key to the rock.
Stay there.
And stayed there. Because I knew that this driver couldn't swim.
Yeah.
But he tried to take the key off me.
Yeah.
I tell you, this was the hardest moment of my rafting journey. So eventually, as we were sitting there, thinking, everyone is giving his opinion, we saw the boats coming.
Yeah.
And we thought it was the other company which I was organizing people to carry the boats.
Yeah.
And these were totally different people. But I saw this guy when he took the helmet off. I saw him. And he couldn't again recognize me because I was near the water. I had taken my clothes off.
Yeah.
But he couldn't remember the clothes. So he ran up to the car and I also followed him. But because he didn't recognize me, I recognized him, but I was a little bit confused.
Yeah.
The other guy was wearing some clothes, and so I'm like, but why would he be on the river? He gave me the car. Why would he be coming?
On the river, yeah.
It was so confusing. And afterwards, we finally started asking some people saying, the young boy is called Juma. And I was like, hey, and I gave him the key. And that's when everything
Yeah, okay. I see what I need to do now.
Oh, he wanted me to look after the car. So then that was actually an Israeli guy.
Oh, yeah, right.
And he said to me, look, I'm staying at a campsite, Nile River, Explorers.
Yeah.
But have you ever been there? I said, no. He was like, I can take you there. And everyone in my village said, no.
You can't go.
They said, no, you cannot go. Because some Mzungus eat people.
Yeah, right.
So you might be their dinner. And others were like, go. But then there was this guy who used to work for Uganda Electricity Board. His English was very good.
Yeah.
He came and he talked to the Israeli guy. He was like, okay, what are you really trying to do? And the guy told him, look, I feel like this kid can be a good kayaker because the campsite people are going to trust him. At the moment, they want to train Ugandans, but they have nobody to trust.
Yeah.
So this kid can go. He can still do schooling, but he can't go on. And the guy said, I will come with him to see. So we drove all the way to here. The guy saw where I was staying, then he went back. And I stayed here that night. The next morning, they gave me money. I found like a bicycle border. Went back.
Yeah.
So I went back with like bed sheets and like some pasta, like some tuna. We opened it and it smelled the whole village. And we didn't even eat it. But he said he was coming back. So when he came back after maybe 2 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because this was
long time.
Yeah, he came because it was 1998 when he came.
Yeah.
And in 2000 he came back.
Yeah.
So he came looking for me. So then I came back here, and then I started learning how to kayak. Yeah. So that's how I moved.
That's crazy. That's a crazy story of how it all comes about, hey?
Yeah.
So then they were teaching you how to kayak then, hey?
So it wasn't him, because for him, he was an Israeli tour guide who goes to Israel, looks for people who want to come to Africa. They do rafting, they do quad biking, but he had his boats.
Yeah, right.
So he would come here, take them rafting, and then they go and do quad biking somewhere, maybe in Namibia in the sand or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But he linked me to the owner of this company, because the owner of this company was looking for some people. to do, and it just linked me to them. But also when I came here, they had, in those 2 years, they had found 2 other guys. One is Paulo and the other one is Henry. So then when I got linked to them, they asked Paulo to teach me how to kayak because Paulo had learned how to kayak.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so Paulo taught me. And
and then you just got. Do you think? Would you say you were obsessed with kayaking?
I got obsessed because I saw the respect when anybody, a kayaker, went down a grade 6.
Yeah.
Like our mothers, our sisters, they were like, I could see that if that man came out of that rapid and said to any of my sister or my mom and said, I want to have you as my wife, she would leave my dad because it was, so I was like, I want only to do that rapid. I want to learn how to kayak and do that rapid, and that is it.
Yeah.
Because I want to earn that respect.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way it is too. It's like, it's, and this is what I was saying, I wasn't saying to you, but I was saying before, like, I find, so for me, motorcycle riding is very much enjoyable. But I don't necessarily enjoy racing that much.
Yeah.
But to be better than other people. Or to test your skills.
It's
like this thing of like, I don't enjoy the actual pressure. I don't enjoy the pressure. I enjoy the racing. And I enjoy the winning.
Yeah.
But I don't enjoy all the frustration that comes with the problems, the breaking down, and the getting lost, or the having a crash, or whatever it is. But I enjoy the complexity of trying to be the best, trying to make the perfect run. That makes sense. You know what I mean? That would make sense to you, like the perfect run of how do I get the perfect line through that rapid or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's like, it's very difficult to get the perfect run.
But I think for me was more like I started thinking of the future in a completely different way. Because I started going like, my dad has 7 wives. He does not do this rapid. If I do it, I can get any wife I want. I might get 14 or 20 wives. I can even be better than my dad.
Yeah.
But what I didn't know was that it would take me a very long time to be able to do that rapid.
Yeah.
So in the process, I ended up like kayaking a lot more, like maybe 2 years before even I could try that rapid. But in those 2 years, I had gained skills which were able to make the owners of the company to go like, you can start picking up the paddle, because in rafting, that's where you start.
Yeah, right.
Because when you're learning how to kayak, you can run a rapid and go down. But when a boat flips and the clients are coming down in that current, when you try to go and catch the clients, you always knock their faces.
Yeah.
You run over them.
Yeah.
So you start off by picking only paddles. You are not allowed, at least for this company's setting. Other companies, I'm sure, like whether you know or you don't know, like as long as you pick up someone. But with this one, that was the setting. You pick up the paddles, and that's your job. The boat flips. The other 2 kayakers, Paul and Henry, pick up the clients. You pick the paddle.
Yeah.
But when you're picking up the paddle, it's not like by default, but accidentally, you start learning that if the paddle is coming this way, I start joining the current here, then I'm going to meet it there.
You're picking the line, right?
Yeah, you know. So even it is the same thing you use when you're picking up clients.
Yeah.
You see them coming, but because you calculate the force you're using towards the force bringing the client.
Yeah.
And you place your kayak in a different way, because it is common that a client would come with their hands ready to grab your kayak, and then you turn. So they feel like you have given up on them, but you turn because you want them to come here and you just grab them, then you put them towards the front of the kayak, or you grab them first. But The kayak is round on the sides. The most dangerous part is the pointed part at the front and at the back. So yeah, you learn that way. So I learned and I started making a little bit of money. And the dream changed. I was like, maybe I don't need to run the rapid. I don't need to get the 20 wives. So then started picking up clients, and the money went up before even I did the rapid. So when I did the rapid, then I started hearing about people saying, you can do competitions, you can do this. But at that moment, I didn't know any trick. I was just running the river and picking up clients because of the type of boats we had. That brings me back to when the play boats started coming in. Then that's how we started getting the boats and watch the people doing it, and then we do whatever they were doing.
And now it's a whole industry, and you've made a whole career out of it.
So that's how I ended up kayaking. And
I love it. It's such a unique and interesting way of
getting into something.
Coming into something, and I find that to be so. I guess it's one of those things. I'm not religious either, like we're saying. But there's definitely something out there that's definitely. It seems to me that's guiding us along our way. And then you have some story like this that's this completely random set of events. I say this often, is that life can only be understood in reverse. You don't understand your life when it's happening to you, but when you look back at it, you're like, oh, that's why that happened, and that's why that happened, and that's why that happened. Oh, okay, I see how that all turned out. But it was very interesting meeting. Oh, one of the other things I want to say is one of the things that intrigued me this morning was your style of I guess guiding or being a tour guide was very not just good but unique and good and playful, and I was like, how did you develop that? But it's it must be over years and years.
It's years, and I think it's also I always take the criticism in a different way than most people do. It's like if someone comes and tells me, this is not good, I try and look at it as if they did not say it to me. I try and push myself away from it. And then I'm like, okay, this is it. And then try and compare it with what other people are doing and really see myself in that. That's how then I start seeing myself in it. One of the things which has made me maybe choose to be I'm serious, but I'm playing, I'm doing this, is that I have been to many places in Uganda in terms of tourism. But when I get there, these are the people who learned, who started tourism from a school.
For sure.
So they still use the words of good morning, sir. Welcome, sir. Do this. And
for sure.
Normally, when I'm there, I'm not really paying attention to that guide. I'm paying attention to the reaction of the tourists who are there.
And that's what you should be doing, playing off other people.
So I'm like, how are they reacting? Are they really enjoying to be called sir?
Or are they uncomfortable with it?
Or they are uncomfortable with it.
100%. And it definitely is like this. It's like this oddly, overly respectful. I don't. Do you know one of the things is I don't deserve the respect necessarily. You don't know who I am. You don't know me. Maybe I deserve the respect. Maybe I do deserve the respect. Maybe I don't. But when someone is speaking to you in this way, it's it feels uncomfortable, right? Whereas if someone's like, oh, hey, how you going? Just natural, naturally speaking, it's a much more well-received way.
So I try and look at the reaction of the clients and how they are reacting towards that person who is like talking to them, but is like, because this is how you get taught at school. When you get someone at your business, you need to respect them, you need to do this. So someone is speaking like, hello, my name is Juma, we are going to go rafting.
It's stiff and robotic.
It's stiff that even the person is uncomfortable.
That's right. Everyone's uncomfortable, that's the thing.
Yeah. So then I start questioning myself, is like, if this person is uncomfortable telling me what he knows and I don't know, what if I'm doing something wrong? Is he going to be able to tell me off?
Yeah.
Or is he just going to let me
just do it wrong?
Just do it wrong.
Yeah.
So then I start worrying. And I go like, okay, if I do the same thing to my clients and I'm taking them down the river, then they might be so worried the whole time. If I'm just like, hello.
Yeah. Not loose and relaxed and like, okay, let's do the thing.
And also, sometimes people come and they are quite tired. Let's say someone has been on the bus.
Yeah.
For a very long time. And when they come and the safety talk is very straight, like forward, and there is no looseness, they're like, oh, this is tough shit.
Yeah. It makes it feel hard, right? It feels hard.
Yeah, so I try, but sometimes you can't, in tourism, you can't really win all the time.
No, of course not. That's in every business.
It's in every business, and it's like, you sometimes get people who have fixed a narrative in their head of what they are going to expect.
Yeah.
So no matter what you do, that's where they see you.
Yeah. You lose no matter what. It's an expectation, and you can never meet someone else's expectation because you don't know what it is.
If you try to be serious, they're like, I don't think the guy knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
If you try to be loose, they're like, I think that is his way of not showing that he's...
Yeah, they've already fixed the idea in their head.
Yeah, so you will never win, especially with the... For me now, it's unfortunate, but if I have a trip and it is only women clients, if they are many, if I'm doing a trip of 30 women and that is 5 boats, so I know I have 5 guides, and I have 5 kayakers plus the all-boater plus the photographer. That's 12.
Yeah.
We are outnumbered.
Yeah, for sure.
By the number of the women.
Yeah.
I am not so worried.
Yeah.
Because they look at themselves, they remember what people have said about African men.
Yeah.
And they become worried, but they start going like, no, we can't outnumber.
There's more of us. There's more of us.
Then they relax.
Yeah.
My hardest trips are when I have 3 women. Because whether it is 3 people, 7 people, I must take the same number of staff.
Yeah.
So 3 young women with 8 black
men,
muscular men walking like robots.
Ripped rowers. You know? Yeah.
So on trips like that, I have to be very, 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 very cautious.
Yeah, careful.
Because I don't want them to view me as like, I'm trying to hit on them.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be viewed as like, I'm so hardcore.
Yeah.
I don't want to be viewed as like, they think that I'm not doing what I would do with the clients if they were male.
Yes.
So I'm taking them down a rapid. Sometimes they are scared. But I don't want to give up and go like, okay, yeah, we can go to the side. Because they'll be like...
Oh, he's only doing that because we're women.
Because we are women.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't want to push them to do the hard stuff because they're going to go like, African men don't
respect us. Yeah.
Respect the women.
They're going to force us to do this thing.
They're going to force us to do things. And if I'm being serious, they would be like, oh, we were told African men shout at their women.
Yeah.
If the women are a little bit older, it's easier than if the women are a bit younger.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if they are older, they have had stories for many years and they have had time to collect their own information to either believe it or not.
Yeah.
If they are young girls, white girls, maybe they come from a very white place where they live.
Yeah.
And the only time they hear about black men is on TV when a black man beaten up his wife.
Yeah.
Those ones have only that information. They have not had many years of like seeing it for themselves to be able to say maybe they are lying. So yeah, those trips, they are some of the hardest. And when on trips like that, I don't allow the kayakers to take shirts off.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because those girls might see that as like the boys are trying to entice us.
Yeah.
No? Some like, guys, no shirts off.
Yeah.
Just if you are changing, change from behind.
Yeah.
Put the jacket on.
Yeah.
And the first thing I do from many years back up to now, if I have a female client, if she's the only one, I would ask her directly. If her tradition, culture, religion,
like you asked me this morning,
allows, if a man who is not the husband, the boyfriend, can tighten the jacket, can pull her in the water.
Yeah.
And if she says yes, and I always say, look, I'm not asking you this to have an excuse to handle you in a very bad way that she accepted. No, I'm just asking this so that I know where you are comfortable and where you are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, for sure.
If you fall in and we are not in a rush, I'm going to let you try to get back in the boat.
Yeah.
I'll come in the water and show you how to get in the boat. But if you want me to help you, then I'll pull you back. Because I have had women from Egypt.
Yeah.
5 of them, they came, they said, show me how the life jacket works. Put it on one of your friends.
And we'll do it ourselves.
We'll do it ourselves.
Seriously?
Yes. If we fall in...
Don't touch.
Don't touch. You can pass me the paddle. You can throw me the rope.
That's hard.
Yeah?
That makes so hard.
And when I showed them how to hold on to the front of the kayak, they said, we are not doing that. We can only get on the back. And I'm like,
okay.
And I said, listen, I totally respect you, and this river is soft enough that we don't have places where we are rushing to pull you back in.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's another one coming or something like that.
Yeah, but there are rapids where they run off and they go into the islands, like the first flip we flipped. You saw how fast you got closer to the island. And I said, in rapids like that, I am going to tell you that you're about to hit a rock, and then you will give me permission whether I pull you in or not. Of course, in rapids like that, I just took the chicken lines.
Yeah.
I didn't want to deal with, with that.
And that's one of the things you got to do. You got to read the situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But during the flip, the training, I saw this incredible freak. I flipped the boat, they went under, they got out, I jumped on top, I reflipped the boat. one woman came and held the boat and pushed the shoulder up like this.
Yeah.
And then the other one climbed, like as if someone is climbing a rope.
Right. Yeah, right.
Climbed, got on top onto the boat, turned around, and they started pulling each other back in the boat.
They find a way.
Cool.
How do I get around this problem? This is like a lot of times how rules work, right? Here's the rule.
Yeah.
Here's how we get around the rule, so the rule doesn't really exist anymore, so we might as well not have the rule.
I was like, wow, this is amazing. And, so since then, if there is, especially if it is one woman on the trip, I need to, if she has a boyfriend or a father or mom, not the mom, but father, a friend, I talk to the friend and I see how they react and then deal with it. But of course, it comes with lots of like mistakes. I've made
over the years, for sure.
I've made lots of mistakes.
It's the only way to perfect your craft, isn't it? Like it's like if you had infinite time to fail and learn, you would be the best. And it's like this thing with music or like playing the violin or whatever it is, or playing the guitar. They say 10,000 hours of practice. And that's 10,000 hours of mistakes.
Yeah.
That's 10,000 hours of doing the wrong thing till you can get to the right thing, right? And it's like the more you practice, the better you get. And like this one, I think I was talking to one of the guys about today, is that, you know, like I'm writing and I'm still learning nearly every single time I write.
Yeah.
I'm learning something new, some little slight modification in my technique, so it gets better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or even like this, I get people saying to me some comments like, you know, when I first started, they were like, "You're a natural at this. You do a very good job. It's great." But now I'm getting comments, "Oh, you're so much better than you were."
Yeah.
And it's like, well, of course, because I'm practicing.
Yeah.
Right. It's just all practice. And of course, we have technical problems and other things like we've had today. But you make it work and you make it do what it needs to do. So it all works.
Live with it.
Yeah, and you get better. And it's important to recover from mistakes quickly and learn. You know,
rather than
dwelling. Like, oh, I can't believe I made this mistake. You know, and you only learn that by making a lot of mistakes. You know, and that's in everything you do in life. You know, and whether it's playing music or interviewing or kayaking or guiding or motorcycle riding, whatever it is. You know, I mean, you have to make infinite mistakes to get better.
And I think for me, like, or for the people who work, most of the people I work with on the river, most of the mistakes come in by use of a wrong English word. Putting just one word in a place where it's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
I didn't know there is a difference between I'll make you wet and I'll get you wet. I used the wrong one on a missionary group. I still have this letter. This letter was written in 2000.
I love it.
It was written in 2002 to my boss.
Yeah.
He gave it to me. It was a letter of complaining.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I still have it. It's like I had these, they were like maybe 4 girls and 2 boys. So I took them in the raft and they said, "We are the hardcore."
Yeah.
And I said, "Cool, I'll make you wet."
Yeah.
And the reaction wasn't really what I was expecting.
Yeah, right.
And I started questioning myself. I'm like, they came to me as like hardcore.
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to make you all wet."
Yeah.
And I was like, why? Why are they? And then we slept in one rapid And one of the ladies didn't have a good time. I think she got into a whirlpool and all that. And for sure, my explanation and the English words were not what they are today. So I don't think my explanation was clear enough in terms of how to deal with the flip. And then that was the same day. In the morning, I said, I'll make all of you wet. And in the rapid we flipped, she was crying. But I did not have enough words to say that, don't cry. I knew the word stop.
Stop crying.
Stop crying. But when someone is crying and you say, stop crying. It feels like you don't care.
100%. Stop crying,
Stop crying.
Big baby.
Big baby. And then after that, she stopped crying. She didn't say a thing. We went down, and I thought I was being smart and thinking ahead. There was this place where there were these men, and they thought showing their willies to the rafting clients was funny. So they always, the river went like, and there is a corner you go around, and there they are standing with their willies. And it was the only way. That's where we went. Because if you went left, there was a big island, and you went into like kind of flat water. So I was like, okay, let me tell my clients so that they are aware that when we get there, there are these bad people who are going to show them willies. I can't remember which words I used, but it came out that I was forcing them to see the willies on the side.
It's just like a comedy of errors, isn't it? No.
And again, I had forgotten one thing. In the morning, when we were giving them life jackets, I was tightening the life jacket for one of the ladies. But you know, when you are not aware of these things, you can do wrong things. Because to tighten the life jacket when someone is facing you,
you gotta push and then pull.
Push.
Yeah, of course.
But I did not even watch where my hand went because this person was wearing a life jacket.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think from their explanation, my hand was right at her boob.
Yeah.
It's like
and you push her back and then pull it forward and tighten it so it's tight. Yeah, for sure.
And I think the client said, "You look like you enjoy this." And I said, yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah, but not thinking about that.
Not think about it.
Yeah, for sure.
This letter is at home. Like after maybe after like every 1 year, I get
read it
out
again.
and read it again and see.
Okay, this is where I went wrong.
So they came back and they wrote this letter and they were missionaries. And this was a group from an organization which was almost the organization which looks after all the missionaries in Uganda.
Yeah, right.
So this was a big business for
for you guys.
My boss.
Yeah.
And I remember crying when my boss read this.
We're going to go out of business, do you think?
Letter to me saying, I'm going to lose like many people. And for him, he read the letter and he did not understand my problem. He did not understand that I just put wrong words.
Yeah, in the wrong places.
In the wrong place.
Yeah, for sure.
For him, because those days we were kayaking, we were into girls, we were into things, he just thought that because that's, there is a stage where everyone knows about you in the community.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you get to a stage where every beautiful girl, you want her to be yours.
Yeah, for sure. Of course.
So when all these things came up, my boss just used that stage of mine to put me into that
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm sure you cannot say no. I know you.
It's like, no, it wasn't that like that. Not like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
they don't believe.
I didn't even have enough English words to defend myself.
Yeah.
Even did you say to the girl, stop crying? Yes, I said. What did you say? Stop crying. You see?
It's the wrong way to say it.
Did you show the girls, the boys with the wheels? Yes.
Yeah.
Why did you do that? We show them. So it was so bad. And it's just like, when you were putting the life jacket on her, did she ask you, did you enjoy this while you were holding her? Yes.
Yeah.
And my boss was, I'm so surprised he did not fire me. Maybe it's because we were only 3 people kayaking for the company at that time and rafting.
Yeah, no other choice.
I think that's the only reason why he did not fire me.
Yeah.
But that was a very long letter for like 4 offenses. 1, I touched the boobs.
Yeah.
2, I showed them the black willies.
The guys with the willies, yeah.
3, I said I'll make them wet.
Yeah.
4, she cried and I said stop.
Yeah. But there's one of the things too is like, it's obviously the type of person, right? That's obviously part of the problem. It's the type of person that doesn't take anything innocently or anything like that. But it's like people that are well-traveled, they know that, I know when I speak other languages, I fucking speak poorly, very poorly when I speak other languages.
Yeah.
I massacre the language. But other people understand that I'm trying, and same thing when people speak English. I understand that they're just trying. Okay, it's not quite right, but it's close enough. And it's like having some empathy or compassion towards the person who's trying to speak something that's not their native language,
Yeah.
And then the other thing is too is like when you're doing some definitely extreme sports, it's like everyone gets handled the same way.
Yeah.
It's not men and women should get handled the same way because it's about safety. It's about you're gonna drown if I don't pull you into the boat or if I don't tighten your life vest up properly. And it's like there's a severe lack of understanding there. But like in tourism, you deal with all kinds of different people. So you need to figure out how that works. And so one of the things is like if it's a group of all men, for example, you could say, I'm going to make you all wet. Yeah. And they think it's funny. They're like, that's pretty funny. Yeah, that's funny. But when it's a group of all women, that would not go down well. No. So it's about that play on word. It's a play on words in a lot of ways. But yeah, it's funny. And it really is a professional entertainment, if that makes sense. Yeah. Tourism, making it enjoyable for the people that are on the thing, while still also taking into account the safety aspect and all that sort of stuff too. Yeah. So it's good. But
the cultural aspect.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Like today when we hopped out of the water, the first time we hopped out of the water to go around that big route, the grade 6. Yeah. And then we walked around and I was like, this guy's funny, he's good, he knows what he's doing, he can see the bits and who and judging who's who. What I say, who's who in the zoo. Yeah. Right? So like some people maybe can't swim very well, some people are young, some people are old, some people are extreme, whatever, some people are female, male, whatever. And you're reading everyone before you even do it. And you're thinking, like what I would say is you're thinking 10 levels above everyone else.
It's always like, it's kind of painful because I have to think in English. When I'm working, I have to think in English. But my thinking in English is slow.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's not
sometimes
like...
that's good though. That's good to think slow sometimes.
Yeah, it's not...
It stops you from overthinking.
Overthinking, yeah. So it is a very... And also, you get clients who... They are not crazy, but the way they deal with the... Is it called adrenaline or anxiety or whatever?
Yeah, whatever, yeah. Bit of both.
Is that they slow down. And when they slow down, it is quite hard.
Well, they slow down and they freeze altogether. Like, so it's like,
Some of them do, but others slow down that it will take a long time for them to understand you.
Yeah.
Not because that's how they live life, but it's that they want to ask you something, but they are trying to make sure that they don't sound stupid.
Yeah, for sure.
And by them trying so hard, asking a question without sounding stupid, they go so. They sound slow and they sound like they are not up there.
Yeah. They got a few. What we call it? They're a few cents short or something like that.
Yeah, and you might rush to that decision of like, this person is not
very smart.
Not very smart.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily.
Not necessarily because they are just slowing down because they are thinking of the repercussions of them asking a question which is very obvious, and it will make them think that you're thinking they are stupid.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge, but I always tell my guys, do what you can.
Yeah, for sure.
And I always tell them, like, if you want to live good life with your woman, don't do the best. Do what you can.
Yeah. Do the best you can. You know, it's not the best. It's just the best you can.
Yeah, because if you do the best and then she says that's not good enough, you're going to feel like you have got to the limit. You can't do anything anymore.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be, because we are programmed differently, especially men and women.
Oh, for sure.
I'll give you an example. If you're traveling with her and you're going to ride to Kenya, to Nairobi, and you're going to take a flight to Mombasa. If you were in charge of booking the flights, these are the words you're going to put in. Flights to Mombasa. 3 will come up. But as a man, you're likely to choose the first one.
Of course.
So you choose the first one, and whether they say $300, you are going to try and translate that in your head. And you're like, is $300 worth this small journey? Then you start finding reasons why it is worth. You're going to be like, maybe they don't have lots of flights. Going. Maybe it is a very good flight. It's a very good company. You will book the flight.
Yeah.
When you ask your woman to book it, she's going to open 10 pages.
More.
10 or more.
Keep going.
10 or more. And
it's decision fatigue. They get decision fatigue.
So it's like
everything.
In one page, she's going to put in cheap flights to Mombasa. The next one, best flights to Mombasa. The other one, worst flights to Mombasa. The other one, good value for money flights to Mombasa.
Every option they can.
Every option. And then, I don't know how some women multitask completely in a different way, like my woman. All these pages opened, she somehow memorizes the number of the dollars or the pounds she saw on this page. And she can constantly keep on going like, okay, that one is $10 less than the other one, this one. But this one, we might have to wait at this airport for this long. And by the time we leave, we have spent this much money on food because we have kids. And it's just...
it's so true.
Crazy,
So I named Sharon the tourism minister because I don't want to deal with that shit, because I'm going to pick exactly what you said. The fastest, most efficient thing I can find, and whatever the price is, okay, I'm going to save that because I'm not wasting my time for 1 hour in the airport, and 1 hour of my time's worth whatever, $300, whatever it is. Well, I've just saved that money anyway, so what's it matter? She has 50 fucking hotels open. Which hotel's the best hotel? I don't care, just pick one. As long as it's not too expensive.
Reviews.
It's all good. Oh, fully.
Fully. So
it's different.
Mine, I call her finance minister. Minister of my government. Anyway, Scott, I will have to go.
Yes, no, definitely.
We had some conversation.
Very good.
Nice, it's taking you guys.
Good,
today.
No, I really enjoyed it, and like even this afternoon we're having a conversation. I was like, this would be a good talk about.
Yeah.
Talk to you about these things.
It's nice
and it's not anywhere near where the direction I thought the conversation would go, but it's the perfect way it went.
No worries.
So it's good. Good to meet you.
Cool. Thank you for coming
Sonny.
with us, Rafi.
So that's the best parts of my conversation with Juma, the first podcast we've shot on location. What did you think? Did you like it? Leave your thoughts in the comments and maybe we'll do some more in the future. All right. See you guys. Bye.
Yeah.